Salute. Peace and power, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power. Salute, salute, salute. Salute, salute. Peace and power to the people of the struggle. How y'all do? How y'all do? How y'all do? Salute, salute, salute. What's good? What's good? What's good? Please excuse the tardiness. Please excuse the tardiness. It was and it is a very, very, very busy weekend for me. Very busy weekend for me. So excuse the tardiness. Salute, 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 salute Dana. Salute Cola. Shall not. Angel, peace, fam. What's good? Come on. Yeah. ATR. I see you committed to the cash. I see you. Yeah. All right. Hey, what up? Brightest. Come on. Christopher Farmer. Salute, salute, salute. As y'all could. Hold on. Let me show y'all my fresh wares. Huh? Can you read it? I know it look a little different. All right? Boom. Y'all see my fresh little hoodie? See that? Can you read it? Street knowledge, divine culture, self-love. Huh? Y'all see the picture? Y'all see that, right? Y'all see that? Huh? Sleeve, real cozy. Ha ha ha. Salute, salute, salute. Yeah. So y'all know what type of time it is tonight. As we know, it's the Saturday night book club. Hmm? That's what's up. That's what's up, Angel. That's what's up. That's peace. Nice hoodie, right, Cola? Yeah. All right. Huh? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The comrades take care of me. And you see the material on it, right? See what it does to the skin. You see what it does to the skin, right? Huh? Yeah, but it's a listen, when I'm telling you, look, check the chat. Cause I know he gonna be in the chat. I already seen him. So let him, say you want a hoodie, reach out. If he about his business, he gonna do what he do. You dig? He gonna do what he do. If he about his business, he gonna do what he do. Alright? Don't go asking me. Don't go asking me. Hold up. Don't go asking me. You dig what I'm saying? Oh, I got a lot. No, I ain't doing that. Y'all ain't gonna kill my feed now. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to share this. See? Hey, T. You dig? I'm still here, right? What up, T? If it wasn't for T, y'all. Oh, hold up. Where the comments at? What's really good? If it wasn't for T, y'all wouldn't even be here. Because I was doing so much. I was running around, you know? And, yo, you can hit me on a jump off like, yo, it's time for Saturday night. It's the book club. What's up? Where you at? I'm running. I'm doing several different things. I'm going hard. Couple of, uh, new ways of organizing that I was looking into. And time starts slipping. Like I said, I had 2 funerals back to back last night and 1 today. Peace, Greg. So in the mix of that, of course, my regular sessions, my regular sessions with anger management, you dig? And, I had to get that right and just got caught up. Really got caught up. And I know tonight is fight night. As always, we seem to be uh, catching all the major championship fights, you know? So, peace, peace, peace. It's Saturday, and it's the end of the Roman year. So things start moving like that, right? This is already the 4th of December. The end of the month gonna run like that. So we need to be on point, you know. Hey, Miss Chocolate, I see you. What up, though? Saturday night book club. That's what's up. And again, I know some fights people don't care about, but Tank is fighting tonight. So I know people want to see that, especially people from DMV, right? But tonight we start chapter 2. Oh yeah, chapter 2 tonight of Asada. So, and again, we know what happened in chapter 1. You rather be where? So you rather be there or you rather be right here? For the seat, right next to the tutor. Where would you want to be? There or here? Let me know. The fight is tomorrow. Oh, so we good money then. The fight is on a Sunday? Sure. Well, so tonight the weigh-in or last night the weigh-in? Because it's rare that you get a fight of that magnitude on a Sunday. Especially with the end of football season and all that. Y'all sure the fight is tonight was the weigh-in? All right. Apple cider, what up? I hope everybody got your books. Everybody got your books? We don't mess with UFC head. I'm telling you, it's tonight. I think it's tonight too, Andrew. I'm serious. I think the weigh-in was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But remember, I'm cloudy. I've been, all these funerals and stuff back to back a little mixy. Plus the first of the month came and went. And Mom, you know what they did to me. You like 75% through it? All right. All right, all right. Fight is tomorrow. Just checked. All right, all right. Jewels, what up? All right, all right. So we can do what we do tonight. All right. Yeah, the first came and went. You know, um, it's been a long and trying week for a lot of people, but you can see, I'm fresh. Eh, 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 eh. I'm fresh. So you listen to. Hold on. Doggy all the time ran into your channel yesterday. Okay, that's what's up. I appreciate that. Peace, man. Peace, man. You on chapter 3. Salute, salute. My book about satellite surveillance, eye in the sky, all seeing eye. Get in. Okay, okay. Well, look, I know people going to go and read at their own pace. We definitely understand that, and you know, once everyone is settled, we can have more analytical discussions. Once we get further ahead, this is just we're in the beginnings. It's early in the book. It's early in the book club. I believe this is what? This is our fourth week, right? Um, and there's always room for growth. But I'm just want to make sure we engage as many comrades as we can. Because once we start getting into these heavy books, I mean heavy books, we're gonna start, you know, reading, digesting, and throwing these ideas. Yo, it gets deep. We get into a space where collectively we are growing each other up. How do I feel about audiobooks? I don't dig them at all. That's why I have yet to uh, place any of my titles in the audiobook format. Everybody doesn't have uh, a voice. Everybody's tone, you know, isn't the same. Do you think it's the same as reading? For me, no. For me, the written word, for me to sit down and have the discipline to actually sit in one space in relative calm and where you have to digest it is just for me the best way for me to absorb something um is an audio book would have to have a soundtrack with it for me. You understand? So nah, not would not I don't know. I have yet to come across an audio book um, that I was, willing to sit through. I'm just not that. Mm-mm. I can do a speech. I've sat through 3 hour speeches. You know, David Goggins and 50 have good audio books. Yeah. Uh-huh. I have to read the words. And it also helps me with spelling. Hey, Gone. Hey. I see you. Peace. Uh-oh, peace. All right. So, and we see everybody filing in. Damn, see how time move? That's 13 minutes already. So let's get in it. Again, you see the freshness. Right. See the freshness. What? Make dope, but dope, call me dope boy, right? Yeah, you see it. All right. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Mm. Right. Nice. And it's comfy. It's comfy. These one of them hoodies that if you sleeping outside, just cover up and it's nice and warm. You dig? You dig? So let's get started. We got 42 people in the building, and as you enter the space, touch that like button. I need a T with my mantras on. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it, and you know how I feel about business. Yeah, snug life. There's a side that she talks. Wait. In the side of in the side she talks about the book. Uh huh. Uh huh. Mm. We gonna get to all that. Worry about what I read. I read 1,000 books. You dig? I believe all politicians are professional liars. Am I wrong? No. We already know what politics in this country is about. Deceit. So you would have to be a professional liar in order to practice in a world filled with deceit. You dig? Got to. But if that's the case, why do you blindly follow? You understand? Come on. Come on now. You dig? So let us begin. Everybody ready? Chapter 2. And the way she, we know how she wrote it. One chapter, the next chapter, one chapter, the next chapter. One chapter is about the incident in her current space at the time. The next tells you about who she is. All right, so chapter 2. We're going to get into it. All right? The FBI cannot find any evidence that I was born. On my FBI wanted poster, they list my birth date as July 16, 1947, and in parentheses, not substantiated by birth records. Anyway, I was born. I am the older of 2 children. My sister Beverly was born 5 years later. The name my mama gave me was Joanne Deborah Byron. I am told that I was a fat, happy baby and that I was talking in complete sentences when I was about 9 months old. They say that I was lazy, though, that I talked way before I learned to walk. Everybody says that I had my days mixed up with my nights and kept everybody up all night. I'm still pretty much a night owl. The only other tale I remember hearing about my babyhood was that I would scream at the top of my lungs whenever anybody wearing furs or feathers came near me. I'm still not too fond of furs and feathers. My mother and father were divorced shortly after I was born. I lived with my mother, my aunt, now Evelyn Williams, my grandmother, Lulu Hill, and my grandfather, Frank Hill, in a house in the Bricktown section of Jamaica, New York. The only thing I remember about that house is the backyard, which I loved, and the huge dog next door. I remember the dog well because he terrified me. To my young eyes, he looked like a giant, a canine version of King Kong or Mighty Joe Young. I'm still not too wild about dogs. When I was 3 years old, my grandparents sold the house and moved down south. I moved with them. We moved into a big wooden house on 7th Street in Wilmington, North Carolina. All right? It was the house my grandfather had grown up in. It had a wraparound porch with a big green swing and, of course, all right, and of course, rose bushes in the front yard and a pecan tree in the back. My grandfather originally thought that the house had belonged to my great-grandfather, Papa Link, short for Lincoln, but they found out he had only been given a house of the use for his lifetime. Papa Link had worked as a chauffeur for one of the most prominent white families in Wilmington, and the story goes, had been a prominent member of the black community. He and my great-grandmother, Mama Jessie, had worked hard all their lives, had raised 11 children in that house, and had died under the impression that the house was theirs. Fine print and white lawyers have a way of robbing black people of what is theirs. My grandparents were forced to buy the house again. So you can see that predatory lending and shit like that ain't new. Switch a few price points, change a few legalities, and you're up under the same oppressive contracts. The same bullshit that they do to this day. Not to interrupt, if you don't have the book and close your eyes and listen to Karim right now, you're listening to an audio book. Really? Thank you, thank you, thank you, Victory, thank you. Crooks, yeah, they always crooks. Always crooks. Always. Y'all could tell I've been running all day. That Gatorade gonna be gone in a second. I'm telling you, I've been out all week, and the weekend has been crazy. But yeah, so, in the past, when you heard me say that we still live under the same conditions, we really do. Since, the Black Power movement of the mid to late 60s to about, the mid 70s, you can say. It wasn't a long run. There was a lot of agent provocateurs. There was a lot of agents, a lot of attacks and imprisonment. We didn't have a long run. Once you reach a certain consciousness and you have a certain type of discipline and true leadership and cadre running around, you're going to be attacked. So you're not going to have a long run. That's why the goals and the targets have to be met, and they have to be dealt with to assure victory. Because you don't have a long run at all. They're definitely going to come for you. And if you're not in a space where you can be totally victorious, you're going to suffer. You're going to have setbacks. So we have not grown since that point, right? We have not grown since that point. How did they know who Asada was? Because of her work. Now, I'm not sure that they knew who she was on that turnpike, but she knew who she was. All right? Could this inflation on everything, could it be from stimulus money and the government is making us pay it back? Well, where was you? I just heard Sonetta have somebody on, and they broke that question down. Inflation has to happen not because of the stimulus, but because of the shutdown. So, when they make an attempt for a new order and you start playing with the economics, and again, if they can't get their grippers gripped up on the French Riviera or in Dubai or, in the Swiss Alps, and that those funds start running low, that's what they do. They inflate the price on everything in order for them to enjoy their pleasures. And, as long as people keep things in this social order where you have extremely wealthy, it is what it is. It is what it is. The more people are asleep, the more they can continue to move with the status quo. And the status quo is always the rich shall be rich. Those who are in poverty will remain in poverty until the rich figure out a way to allow them to eat a little bit while still, being the ones who remain on top. That's just how it is. That's what the whole objective is, and people have to understand that. You have to have a mindset where everybody's moving at the same space and time in order to, you have to really, that's why I appreciated the shutdown. When you study how nations move, when you study how people grow, for me, it was getting out of control. Pre-pandemic, it was just out of control. The enormous amount of money going to very few people, the enormous amount of traffic, how people move on the streets. You know, pre-pandemic, we was in bad shape, especially here. We was in terrible shape. I used to just watch while I'm out doing work in the community. I'm just looking and I'm observing. And I'm like, yo, people are not in purpose. People are not moving with intent. They're just moving. They're just going about their lives. And that's a very dangerous space because you forget about the less fortunate. You forget about the mentally ill. You forget about the elderly and the worst. You forget about the children. And that was speeding. That was moving very quick. So I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew something was about to happen. Because at the same time, that's when you seen the conscious community, you know, in great abundance. People giving different doctrines to read, people researching, and you had to have a space where everything shuts down, or the events which causes us to be triggered to act out violently or to act out without hope, we're going to escalate. And that is something that they can't stand. Because now everybody got to go. Everybody has to suffer. Excuse me. And it's not going to be a good outcome for them, you know? So, do I think it was a plan, right? Pandemic? I don't know. But I know these people have to benefit off of anything, whether it's purpose or accidental. Because in order for us to believe that this was planned, then we would be foolish to believe that we are the superior organism on this planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? We would be very ignorant, right? We would be very, very ignorant to believe that we are the most powerful organisms on this planet. We are not. That's what the problem is. We are not the most powerful organisms on this planet. We're not even the majority on this planet. Do y'all know what the most powerful organisms are on this planet? Anybody in the chat? What is the most powerful organisms on this planet? Anybody want to give me a answer to that? Trees? Nope. Plants? Nope. The most powerful organisms on this planet. Insects? Nope. Air? Sort of. One more. Come on, one more. Give y'all one more shot. Odds? Nope. Water? Nope. Nope. Bacteria. Bingo. Here you go. Hurt blessings. Huh? Right. Bacteria. Viruses. Those are the most powerful organisms on this planet. And we're looking at it right now. Viruses. You can do nothing to combat it at all. At all. Right? Once it's inside you, it's a wrap. And viruses have always existed. Viruses have always existed and been wiping humanity out for millennia. They're powerful. The most powerful living organisms. And man, in his ignorance, believes that he can deal with it. That's why they keep lying. That's why everything that they keep throwing at it doesn't work. And now we're on, right? When it went from 19, right? Do you know why they got the numbers like that? And now when you went from the Delta and now you on Omicron, that's like the 13th, right? Because it keeps changing, right? So you can believe, these doctors, these scientists can believe, right, that they could go in a petri dish, right, and look and examine and think that they could, you can prevent it from getting in you, but you can't destroy these viruses, right? When you spraying and all that, Lysol and the bleach and all that is for your outside, right? But for a virus in you, you can't spray Lysol down your mouth or like dummy said, drink bleach. You can't do that, because that will do what? That'll kill you. That'll hurt you. You understand? So these viruses are powerful. But we, right, being humans, right, human beings, and the only thing that separates us from the animals is our ego, right? And our ability through technology to destroy nature, to build on top of nature. Nobody else, no other animal does that. No other animal does that, right? They don't have the cognition to do it. They must be creatures of their habit and their habitat. So you don't see monkeys and shit, putting on boots in the snow, right? You don't see that. Salute. Hey, Natasha, it's Mike. What up? Salute. You dig? Salute. Who else in there? LG, what up? Uh-huh. Bacardi, yes. Yes, you understand? Huh? Silk, what it do? So, hey, Queen D, what up? So you understand, right? You cannot, and will never, right, be stronger than viruses, bacteria, other microorganisms. They outnumber us by the gazillions. You dig? So it's ego when people, especially scientists who again believe that they're super intelligent, right? So as long as man keeps doing what he's doing, he eventually will destroy himself. He will do it eventually. This is why these people sit and ponder and think and write these scripts, right? And coming around with these notions uh, of a nuclear catastrophe or all these other wild ideas that you put out into the universe through your thought and action, because deep down inside that you know if you're not right and exact, you will create something that will destroy us all. That's just what it is. Exactly. Yeah, they want to play God when they don't have a true concept of God. You understand? So here we are, you know. And the more we are woke, the more we are conscious, the more we have to remain militant. All right? You dig? So, as we was at that space, right, we found out that, her grandparents, great grandparents, didn't have the house, right? Who's better than you? Nobody. Who? Nobody. Get that head up. Yes. Yes, who? Yes, grandmommy. I want that head held up high. And I don't want you taking no mess from anybody. You understand? Yes, grandmommy. Don't you let me hear about anybody walking over my grandbaby. No, grandmommy. I don't want nobody taking advantage of you. You hear me? Yes, I hear you. Yes, who? Yes, grandmommy. All of my family tried to instill in me a sense of personal dignity, but my grandmother and my grandfather were really fanatic about it. Over and over, they would tell me, "You're as good as anyone else. Don't let anybody tell you that they're better than you." My grandparents strictly forbade me to say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, or to look down at my shoes, or to make subservient gestures when talking to white people. You look them in the eye when you talk to them, I was told, and speak up like you've got some sense. I was told to speak in a loud, clear voice and to hold my head up high, or risk having my grandparents knock it off my shoulders. All right? So when we speak on our elders and the things that they spoke over us, spoke on us, and spoke to us, we tend to forget certain jewels if we're not connected to that family element, to that consciousness. Um, all of us, well, the majority of us, come across some people in our lives that make an attempt to instill that pride, that self-esteem in us, because that has always been what this institution tried to strip away. And they did a good job at stripping it away from many. But, without that self-esteem, without that self-assuredness, you can easily be made a slave. And I mean a literal slave in the sense of working for people to death, and a figurative slave, a slave of yourself, a slave of a vice. Easy. So, people either have to instill that in you, or you have to find that within yourself throughout the many themes of your life. That is an issue for a lot of people that suffer from anger management, from domestic violence issues, from all type of behavioral um, imbalances. That lack of self-esteem is mean. You know, I mean, I've witnessed um, women who are very educated, with degrees, with careers, with no self-esteem, literally leave a job and fall up under the arms of a pimp and sell their ass. I'm serious. You know, if you are not on your toes and very confident in who you be, people talk you out of some shit. You know, so when it's very important to put those things in a child, especially if you're doing it from a space of love. You know, you hold up. Damn, why I keep doing that? My grandma told me didn't like women who talk like babies. Mm-hmm. Yes, my mom told me look them in their eyes. Definitely. I had a grandmother, my father's mother, who put books just like this in front of me before I was speaking good. She listen, he can read it, you know? And until this day, I read and read and read, and my comprehension is out of this world. That's why I take my time and so meticulous, because when somebody takes the time to write something, they're doing it from their heart. And I read everything. There's a message in it. That's how come I always know when somebody didn't read uh, one of my books, because I they can't articulate it. You know, they just can't do it. And me, I'm a stickler because I put jewels in almost everything. Is empathy possible? Pardon me, I've been trying to read this. Is empathy possible without the experience of that problem? Have you been to jail? Uh, I feel ways to cry for Asada. Hold up. I feel always to cry for what Asada lost having to be in Cuba as a woman. Wow, she's doing her thing over there. She's been protected over there. If she was here, she would be dead. Jermaine, again, have you been to prison? You can always empathize with somebody if you may not be able to feel the impact as someone who is going through it if you haven't been going through it yourself. But you can place yourself in their shoes, not literally, but so you've been to jail. Have you ever, I ain't trying to be funny. Have you ever sold your grippers in a cold in a pair of high heels, with your grippers out? Hmm? I bet you feel for them. I bet you feel for them hoes. I bet you feel for them hoes. You see them out there, ass out, grippers out, in 20-degree weather, with them little hard ass metal heels click clacking and shit. Your heart bleeds for them, but you ain't never do it. No, sir, I know you haven't, but you feel sorry for their ass, don't you? You wouldn't wish it on no female relative of yours, and you definitely wouldn't wish it on your daughter. That's empathy without you having to go through it. Right? All right. Right? Because, I guess that question is leading towards how come Whitey don't feel no empathy for us? You know? After the shit that we've been through and continue to go through under their charge. Right? They don't have it in them. Because if they ever felt true empathy, then they would have to reverse it or undo it. And where would that leave them? You understand? That's why it's going to always be there. That's why it's going to always be there. Racism, bias. You understand? That's going to always be there. Because they can never see themselves where we sitting. I think they don't feel empathy because they don't. They can't. They can't. And true power can never be relinquished. So you got to take it. You got PayPal, Apple Pay. Can I send a cash app with those platforms? I don't know. You asking me something totally different. I'm not even sure if I have Apple Pay. I know I got this Apple phone. Gotti, salute. Locking in from the UK. Hey, you up kind of late. You up kind of late. What's good with you? You can't sleep? You can't sleep? All right. So again, let us continue. My grandparents. Oh, you working the night shift. All right. Mello, what's up? Calm down, Mello. Cut it out. I mean, if they felt empathy, their power would be gone. Yeah, definitely. I gotta break down and finally get Cash App. Oh, yeah, definitely. No doubt. My dentist told me to stop drinking Gatorade. Why, Wells? Shit, I drink coffee every day, so Gatorade can't be no worse than that. You know? You just started your business. All right, Shakur. Yeah, Mello, stop smiling, because you calm down. We having Saturday night book club. You talking about a whole different book. V. Gates. Huh? V. Gates in Deutschland. Alles klar? All right. Okay. Right? My grandparents. You know the book? Same book. Same book. Saturday Night Book Club. Cut it out. My grandparents were big on respect. I was to be polite and respectful to adults, to say good morning or good evening as I passed the neighbors' houses. Any kind of back talk or sass was simply out of the question. My grandparents didn't even permit me to answer questions with a simple yes or no. Instead, I had to say yes, grandmother, or no, grandfather. But when it came to dealing with white people in the segregated South, my grandmother would tell me menacingly, don't you respect nobody that don't respect you. You hear me? Yes, grandmother, I would answer, my voice almost a whisper. Speak up, she would tell me repeatedly. Something she seemed hell bent on making me do. She would send me to the store with clear instructions on what to bring back. I was, under no circumstances, to come home with inferior goods, something which happened all too often to black people in the South. You tell them that you don't want any garbage, and you better not come back with any, she would warn me. If the store owner told me something that my grandmother didn't like, I would have to return to the store and get the thing changed. The store owner sold me something that my grandmother didn't like, I would have to return to the store and get the thing changed or get my money back. You speak up loud and clear. Don't let me have to go down to that store. Scared to death of the fuss my grandmother would make if she had to go to the store herself, I would hurry back to the store prepared to raise almighty hell. See how you can train children? You understand? You see that? You see that? You see that? That's how you teach your children. Wait a minute. Hey, V. Oh, I love that picture, that video of No No V. Yes, I do. Anybody ever tell you you look like the main character from Snowfall? No. No. Compassion is better than empathy because empathy just means you know how someone else feels. Compassion means you care about how they feel. That's true. Thank you. Don't respect nobody who don't respect you. That's my motto. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That sounds like my mom and granny. Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you instill that in children the right way, right? Because there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do that. Because once you do that, you have to also make them aware of the language that they're utilizing, right? Because they're little and they may not be able to protect themselves when it goes into a different direction. And that is what has happened to generations after, right? Like our generation, where we were very, very disrespectful because of the knowledge of self, because we were raised with our parents calling pigs down to the power structure. You dig what I'm saying? Black power. Then we went from that era to an era where we saying we are gods. I'm telling you, you's a god. The black man is God. You understand? That energy that you put in children and you birth hip hop from that. You understand? That energy is a detriment if you're not preparing your children for what comes with that. You dig? Because what comes with that is the force of the enemy, the mercenaries, right? And we know who the mercenaries are: law enforcement, and those mercenaries and people who sit in positions of power, right? The DA and things of that, who can take your baby and give them 25 years and shit like that, or trumped up charges, right? Or you create an element where, you know, these very radical children don't have any institutions to live out these ideas that you're putting in their head. And sooner or later, without the structure, Without the doctrines, they fall victim to their own, right, little bit of knowledge. So you have to prepare them when you're doing those type of things, you know? Some think wrong is right and right is wrong. Yeah, you know? Love seeing the numbers 333. Oh, yeah. Understanding. Right, if you're not prepared for war, well, we can never have peace with these people. Salute, salute, Willie. Again, I'm going to always tell you, these people are enemies of nature. How can you have peace with somebody that will cut down a tree for no reason? How can you have peace with people who will shoot a rhino for its horn or elephant for his ivory to make a damn chain? You understand? Do you understand? Define these people. I'm defining them. People who will cut down trees for no reason. People who will displace indigenous people off of their land for no reason. Or for a greedy reason. People who kill animals for absolutely nothing. You understand? We could never, ever have peace with them. Ever. Ever. I don't think it would ever exist. I don't think it will ever exist. Especially when we see the aftermath of what takes place once we begin to not come from a position of defense and defending ourselves, but when we are in a position to attack first. Totally different mindset when you're doing that. We saw what the Panthers did. We learned from that. Self-defense, and that's an old thought. That's an old theory. That's a theory we watched. We're gonna go that route again? I think not. I think not. I would never advise that. You're gonna go that route again? We seen what happened with that. Language has to change. And with the change of language, the change of behavior. All right? So, you know, excuse me, a whole different ball game now. Whole different ball game. All right? Okay, let's continue. Whenever my grandmother heard about somebody being mistreated, especially if it was a man mistreating a woman, she would glare at me and say, "Don't you let anybody mistreat you. You hear? We're not raising you up to be mistreated. You hear? I don't want you taking no mess off of nobody. You understand?" "Yes, grandmother," I would answer, for what seemed like the millionth time, wondering why my grandmother liked to repeat herself so often. The tactics that my grandparents used were crude, and I hated it when they would repeat everything so often. But the lessons that they taught me, more than anything else I've learned in life, helped me to deal with the things I would face growing up in America. But a lot of times, For my grandparents, pride and dignity were hooked up to the things like position and money. For them, being just as good as white people meant having what white people had. They would tell me to go to school and study so that I could have a nice house and nice clothes and a nice car. Quote, white people don't want to see us for nothing, unquote. They would tell me. That's why you've got to get your education so that you can be somebody and have something in life. Becoming somebody in life just didn't mean too much to me. I wanted to feel happy, to feel good. My awareness of class differences and the black community came at an early age. Although my grandmother taught me more about being proud and strong than anyone I know, she had a lot of Booker T. Washington, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, talented 10th ideas. She had worked hard and had made a decent living as a piece worker in a factory, but she had other ideas for me. She was determined that I would become part of Wilmington's talented 10th, the privileged class, part of the so-called black bourgeoisie. Woo! All right, all right. All right, all right. Okay, yes. Sharif, no doubt. Thank you, Sharif, for the gift and the super chat. All right, all right. Okay. Okay, Derek, what's up? Salute, salute. Everybody's in the spot. All right. So, as you can see, how you can inherit ideas that are not that are not necessarily the best ideas, but you inherit them because that's how you was raised. Excuse me. All right. So, as you can see, they want her to be part of the black bourgeoisie, which again is reactionary to the conditions, right, that we came from, or the conditions, excuse me, or the conditions that we were in. You know, it's a reactionary response that some people still have to this day. You believe you could earn enough money, you know, um, you can wash away this. You understand? You got people that believe that. I don't. Let me see. Would you rather of the U.S. state segregated? You asking me that question? Let me know. You asking me? I never lived in a segregated um, United States, so I don't know what those conditions were like. I think U.S. as black people would have been better segregated, then we wouldn't have a U.S. We wouldn't have we wouldn't have been. They would have wiped us out, or we would have wiped them out. There would be no U.S. They stole all this land. They wouldn't have annexed any parts of this land just for us. That would mean their demise. They can't compete with us. The white Irishman has been oppressed for 1,000 years. Respect to you and your fight. The white Irishman? You think they still oppressed? At least they fight. It is much better to know of your oppression and fight than to know of your oppression and do nothing. All right? So, again, there's no way that we could coexist separately on this land, right? And there have been petitions made for land, right? The Republic of New Africa wanted the 5 states, which were considered at the time the poorest, impoverished states of the South. Give us this, let us do what we do here, and we good. And what did they do? They destroyed the Republic of New Africa, went after their leadership, imprisoned them. I'm not trying to see that type of mentality here coming from us. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. You dig? Let's continue. Hey, Brandon, what up? Let's continue. One of her first steps was to sternly forbid me to play with alley rats, quote unquote. It was impossible for me to obey her orders since I had absolutely no idea what an alley rat was. I often became the unwitting object of my grandmother's fury, charged with the crime of alley rat playing. My grandmother, writhing with annoyance, would threaten me with untold punishments if I continued my evil ways. I received strict orders to abandon my penchant for alley rats and play with decent children. But we could never agree on who decent children were. Decent children, to my grandmother, were a whole nother story. Decent children came from decent families. All right? Salute, 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 Comrade Cox. What's good with you? Thank you. Right? Decent children came from decent families. All right? How did you know what a decent family was? A decent family lived in a decent house. How did you know what a decent house was? A decent house was fixed up nice and had a sidewalk in front of it. Decent families didn't let their kids play in the street with no shoes on and didn't let their kids say ain't. Little did my grandmother know that ain't was my favorite word once I got 2 feet out of her hearing range. My grandmother had a little alley cat right under her roof and she didn't even know it. Alley rats supposedly lived in alleys and run-down shacks, but my grandmother would often call one of my friends an alley rat, even if the kid didn't live in an alley. So, you see, right? Ah, brown girl. What up? Brown girl joining us from Boston. It's after hours too, so I know she got Rufus right there, kind of huddled up and shit, reading the book for Saturday night book club. What's up? That Rufus, I said, what's up? All right. There you go. Yeah. Y'all got y'all little cocoa, y'all snuggle. All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So you see, she wanted to be an alley rat. Like most children, you know, want to, you know, be with kids, man. Kids are kids. Kids are kids. And that's what they want, you know, want to play. You know, I know me, I always pick the most unruly children to be around all the time. All the time. Hey, Colleen, what up? So, we see how her young mind was shaped by the people around her. And this is how we have to shape our children as well. I was just mentioning today, I did an assessment, anger management assessment, and we were talking about how men can just leave young children, you know, just birth a child and toddlers, 1 or 2, you just out. I mean, that is mind blowing when you know exactly what these children are gonna face, and to leave them out there with no tutelage, no nurturing, that's a crime. Peace, peace, peace. Yes, long time. Uh-huh. Okay, okay. Salute, salute. Reach out on Instagram. Uh-huh. So we could build, you know. Uh-huh. Fish scale, no doubt. Definitely. And they shot me up out there. Who? Who are you asking that to, Derek? Drinking alcohol? Who drinking alcohol? Who? Oh, okay, V. What happened, V? Yeah, y'all going in tonight. I'm going in tonight in the chat. You know? It's I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling when men can leave children to grow up without them. You know, regardless of what's going on. Mm-hmm. Mars, what up? What up? And so many of us, we really didn't have too many friends, but some of us were alley rats. Yeah, a lot of alley rats. You know? That's definitely neglect, which is a crime and unconscious. Yeah, to walk away from your own children. I mean, oh my goodness. It's especially in this climate, when they didn't know any better, they was getting forced out of the house, 60s, 70s, 80s. Once them 90s hit, them 2000s, unconscionable. I'm serious. Just for you to look at a child and you walk away, not knowing what's going to happen. You dig? You need anger management, Mars? What happened? What happened? Hit me and hit my DM. Hit my DM. Hit my DM. Hit my DM on IG. Things get hard at times, but I understand. Me and my lady stuck it out with all the, yeah, you have to. I know you don't do social media. Just hit my DM so we can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm on your page. You know I see the beautiful things, so you gotta hit me. Let me know what's going on. Right? So, um, her her grandparents was instilling that in her. You dig? Her grandparents was instilling that in her. And that's how we have to instill all of our lessons and degrees into our children. Just have to. Just have to. Because everything that is here, if we've dealt with it, they're going to have to deal with it if it still remains intact. So people can have dialogues and debates about a whole bunch of things. What they believe about this policy, what they believe about that, what they believe about all this little stuff that we going through. But the facts are the facts. Prisons are here. If they remain here, your babies are going to go up in those cells. I don't care how smart they are. I don't care how intelligent they are. I don't care how talented they are. I don't care what they do. As long as those prisons are there, there's a threat for your babies to be up in that. Okay, comrade. Okay, general. Okay, brother. How can we prevent that from happening? The prison's got to go. Not only the prisons up here, but physically. If something isn't there, it can never harm you. You can never fall victim to it. But in order to physically get rid of those prisons and physically to have the time and the space to get rid of those prisons, you got to get rid of the prison up here first. You have to conceptualize life without these people being in charge. And that will allow you to process, to theorize, and to put into practice ways in which you can self-govern and start nixing away specific institutions, right, that can harm you. You dig? Each one teach one. Man must teach his woman, and in turn, one must teach her children. Indeed, right? We must get back to the family dynamic. Indeed, they're building more prisons to incarcerate our babies. The imprisonment of the mind must be dismantled first. Indeed. V, who you got up out of here, V? And thank you, for being a great moderator so we can so I can concentrate on the build. I definitely appreciate that. So, I already told you my background and what kind of lessons were instilled in me, My email, OT Beauty. That's that's Oscar, Tom, the word beauty. otbeauty@yahoo.com. Lacey, what's up? All right? otbeauty@yahoo.com. So, it's very important that we nurture our children and give them specific ideas that will help arm them with, anything they may face. And we know that today's challenges are a little OT Beauty@yahoo.com. Oscar T Tom Beauty. The word beauty, like Beauty and the Beast. otbeauty@yahoo.com. Right? So yeah, we know that they're gonna face a lot. A lot. They're gonna have to face questions about this shutdown. They're going to have to face questions. He can't hear me. right? They're going to face questions, um, about gender roles and things of that nature. They're going to face a lot. Our children have to be armed up. That's right, peace. Properly educated, lost children every day, definitely. And look, you join tonight. You in the chat. And what's today's math, right? You know today's math, culture, right? Or freedom, right? All right, all right. So, um, let's continue. Decent children came from decent families, right? We did all that, right? So, hold up. Give me a second. It is insane, though, that you basically have to find the evidence when asserting your claim. And no matter how convinced you are, you're still at the mercy of that representative BC of the overall situation. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. Yes, Victory. You're going against 2,000 years of law knowledge and assertion. You believe that these laws are 2,000 years old? Laws are created every day, policies every day. All right? I don't know what's going on, so I'm not going to, sit in the pocket of the chat. All right? All right? Let's continue. Dutifully, to put some sense in my head, she would take me to visit decent children. These decent little souls were invariably the offspring of Wilmington's black doctors, lawyers, preachers, and undertakers. School teachers, barbershop owners, and the editor of the colored newspaper were also decent. In most of these decent little play sessions, the other kids and I would stand around looking at each other awkwardly. Sometimes we would get it on and have some fun. But more often than not, it would be glare at each other time or show and tell time. The kids showing me their toys and such while the grown-ups oohed and ahed. The worst times were eating at the preacher's house, where they would take an hour saying grace, or playing ball with the undertaker's daughter. She always wanted to play ball, and I was scared to death that the ball was going to roll into the part where they kept the dead people and end up in the mouth of some corpse. My grandmother would have caught a shift if she had known that one of her favorite little decent kids' favorite game was playing show and tell with his ding-a-ling and threatening to pee on everybody. So, so you see how decent, right, quote unquote, decent children, right, or the children of these decent folks be off the meter. Do y'all see that? And that happens even to this day, you know? Even to this day. You dig? those, I know some kids that was running with us who came from, uh, you know, was off the meter. Mothers were doctors, you know what I'm saying? Fathers were, business people, and they kids was nuts, sniffing coke and all that, just bugged, you know. Was Black Wall Street a mistake? Not building, investing into a military army? Of course it was, but we talking about in hindsight. A lot of we can look at uh, a lot of the different circumstances that our people were under and came up from, and in hindsight, we could, that's what generations do, right? Um, that's what generations do. Look back at the faults of our predecessors, but how do we become better, right? How do we move better? How do we learn from those errors and move a little bit differently? So, of course, Black Wall Street would have done better with a military. But if they didn't have that collective consciousness at the time, oh well. It's like now. We gave up hip hop to be on a global stage, to get a global audience. We gave up power and control of the culture. In hindsight now, I bet they would want to take that back. You dig? Why do we need a military when private security is a real thing? Because private security doesn't necessarily come with discipline. Private security could be mercenaries and they could easily be bought. A mercenary just nothing but a hired gun. He ain't got no loyalty to nobody. So you need military that provides discipline, structure, responsibility, and accountability. All right? So any more questions before we close for the night? I see there's a lot going on in the chat. Tonight y'all made me feel like Reverend Leon Lonnie Love. I was about to say, I don't want no banging up in here. Right? Like you said, what's going on? All right? What would you say is the most important thing a young girl could learn from Asada? How young? It depends on how young. A lot of these more mature women don't understand the power of Asada and haven't learned anything from it, or don't even know who she is. So for a young girl, most important thing most important thing for any of us to learn from reading Asada is that when they come in hard. 10 years old. But when you get into the text for a 10-year-old, she's going to speak about how she was always unsure of herself and the different spaces that she placed herself in unnecessarily. And by the time you get to the end of the book, a 10-year-old will get to have a clear vision of what a queen is, of what a melanated, powerful woman is. And then she will have something to measure against the bullshit that she's seeing. Right? So You know, it's just too many different lessons. Too many different lessons um, that a 10-year-old can take away from it. But do will she have the ability to process that at 10? Right? Because I'm telling you, some women could read this at 30 and not process what is going on and how. I'm telling you, you can read the first chapter and some women still wouldn't be able to place themselves in that. You just can't do it. You don't know what it's like to be laying there shot up and to have people kick you, stomp you, beat you, and threaten you with death. You don't have a concept of that. They don't. So that 10-year-old will only be beginning, and she will have to read it again at 14. She would have to read it again at 16. She would have to read it again at 19. She would have to read it again at 25. She would have to read it again at 30, just like me. I'm reading it over and over and over and over again. And every time I read it, it's a different takeaway. But see, the difference between me and Moses, I've been brutalized by police. I've had guns drawn on me. I had them cock a gun on me, put it to my head, tell me they're going to blow me away. I've been spit on. I've been beaten while I was cuffed. I've been kicked in the face while I was cuffed. All type of, I know the brutality, so I can only, it doesn't take me long to uh, uh, place myself in a position where if I was shot, you know, Cuba was nice and have good doctors and nurses. Well, of course, because it was, you know, they, they work for each other, and I haven't been there. I do, want to. I do want, I do want to see it and visit one day. But I don't know. Okay, what are we doing? I'm just saying. V is wowing. Telling y'all don't mess with V. I'm telling you, don't mess with V. Many of our physicians train in Cuba. Yeah, because it doesn't cost. Um, they're very efficient. They study hard. And most people don't know that when they have natural disasters um, in the Caribbean or on the continent, Castro was the first one to send teams of doctors and first aid workers and stuff like that to these other countries to help them get on their feet. Yeah, because they want to be capitalists, Joels. They want to be capitalists. You know? That's what's wrong. Listen, the Cubans in Miami are no different than the melanated people in Austin, Texas, in downtown Brooklyn, or in Sugar Hill, Harlem, or in Queens, in Whitestone. You dig what I'm saying? Blacks in Beverly Hills. No difference. If you want to have capitalist dreams and you believe in that, you're going to hate people who want to deal from a space of love and unity. No different. Of course you're going to hate it because you was living high on a hog. And the revolutionaries came through and kicked your ass up out of there. So you're going to be mad. Yeah, he got to stay away from police, man. He has to stay, and it's getting more difficult now because when it was happening to me, I was in the mix. So it was expected. But now you can have good kids. And I mean, literally good kids that ain't into nothing. And these people act like they can't differentiate the two. You understand that? They act like all our kids are the same, which is why Trayvon could get killed in a hoodie. Back then, if I had certain attire, they knew what I was doing. They knew I was up to no good. But now, it's one blanket statement. All black youth are up to no good. Right? That's where we at with it. So you have to teach them and tell them like, nah, y'all gotta stay out of the criminal element altogether, far away from police. And it's gonna be difficult because we have policies in place. We have racist elements that have been born into very hateful families and situations that are in the police force. They grow up and throw them right in there. So it makes it that much difficult. Your son, your nephew, your niece, your daughter could literally be walking home from school and get accosted by somebody who they claim is an agent of law. Come on, y'all. Remember, you had the dude in the police car, in uniform, marked car in a uniform, raping women in the Lower East Side, in a police car. So how do we arm our children against that? We have to give them serious lessons, serious degrees, serious tools, serious language, and let them know that not only are you a melanated child, right? But we are raising you to be militant, to make sure something separates you from them. Bliz, how can we protect our people from falling for intangible currency like crypto and Bitcoin? I don't know. They're going to fall for it. Simple as that. I get somebody telling me about crypto every day. They're going to fall for it because they're going to fall for that the way we fell for the drug game. Simple as that. If you could get money in large amounts, right, without the government knowing, you feel that you're hustling, that you're encouraged, and that you are doing some type of rebellious activity. So they're going to fall for it. Nothing you can do. They're going to fall for it until that shit collapse. But how do we know if it's going to truly collapse? It may become the standard for how the world moves. It may become that. But I'm not willing to bank on that. I don't give a fuck about it. And people just fail to realize that. I had somebody come in my DM talking about they watching me. Out of all of these YouTube personalities, they watching me. You understand? So I'm looking. I just respond with question marks, but I was gonna go in, and I hope they listening. Now I hope they in the chat or around, cause you could watch me all the fuck you want. I'll give you my social security number. I am nobody in their eyes. Financially, my credit is zero. Trust and believe when I'm telling you that. Zero. I went to the dealership to trade in this bullshit after getting scammed on it. You understand that? The man said, I cannot give you the credit report. So if anybody ever been in a dealership, they know what I'm talking about. I cannot give you your credit report But I can tell you on my screen it's saying that you don't have any. Your shit is a zero. You haven't used anything. So I definitely don't give a fuck about finances at all. Credit is zero. I don't own shit. My Cash App is on zero. If something comes in, I send it right back out. Somebody always need more than me. Always. So what you fuck you watching me for? Unless you coming to get schooled. I don't have shit. Nothing. 6 violent felony offenses. I don't own a home. I have nothing. Ain't no scam here, baby. I'm transparent. And my work speaks for itself. Go back 10 years on Facebook and see if I haven't been speaking the same shit. If I haven't been walking the same walk. If I don't have documented films of me putting in the work. Watching me. The fuck out of here. You need to go watch them dudes that been scamming you. Go watch Polite. Go watch Umar. Go watch Tariq and all of them. Go watch Grandmaster J. Don't watch me. I don't want nothing from this government. I don't want shit. I don't believe in it. None of it. So you can't drop a bag. You drop a bag to me, I'll burn the shit. I don't care about it. I'm a vessel of truth. I don't want nothing from them but their blood. Simple as that. So you can watch me. Shit. But I ain't going on them. Because I understand. Like all true liberators and revolutionaries understand. Our people are very cynical. Because so many people have came through and made promises and didn't do shit. So we all get looked at with the side eye. What happened to Master J? He was an agent from the rip. That's what happened. People bought into that dumb shit. Like you can't see that shit. I saw that shit a mile away. But it took time for people to catch wind of that shit, and they still ain't catch wind of that shit. People still lagging behind that dumb shit. Fuck out of here. Blacks with guns? Really? Really? You never have to show your arms. Ever. So in 2019, 2020, y'all walking up and down the street with fucking guns, looking fucking bum-fuck stupid. Ain't bust a shot. When I know that even in order to be marching, that you had to sit in a precinct somewhere and get a permit. Come on now. Come on now. Anytime you see police barricades, they went to get a permit for a march. I've been doing this shit too long. Non-profit world, for-profit world. Not Jam Master J. Grandmaster J. You dig? You can't fool me with this shit. I'm surgical with this shit. Trust and believe. I'm the people movement, Black Power. Straight like that. I'm surgical with this shit. Trust and believe. I smell it out. I'm very, very hip to what it looks like to be a counter agent. Very hip. Very hip. Very hip. Serving our people up to the enemy with that bullshit. Telling you. Gotta watch. watch these people. So I get it. Yeah, watch me. Learn something though. Don't just watch me waiting for me to slip or to say something that you might find as contradictory. You dig? Watch me and learn. And then go back and teach your babies. And then join me in the foxhole when it's time to get busy. Don't just keep your eye on me like, the fuck out of here. I'm a different breed. Trust. Yeah, but that's yeah, he went to jail. That's trumped up bullshit. That's all for show. All for show. All for show. All for show. Listen, I'm gonna hip y'all to something. And you gotta pay attention. If no one, and I mean absolutely no one, can speak for you or any melanated person for how you were or who you may be as a kid, in grade school, to middle school, to high school. If nobody can speak to anybody from that, question who they are and where they come from. I'm dead serious. Question. And I will show you in every space of my life. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, you will find somebody that can vouch for me and my work, vouch for me and who I am as far as character goes. I have people who are on my Facebook page that we've been friends since the 3rd grade. You know what that means? I'll be 53 in February. That's people who have been in my life over 40 years. I have people, all of us, then we went to middle school together and found new people, and then we were skipped a grade in middle school. So those people from middle school are with us too. Then I have people in high school that could tell you who I was in high school. I have people in the military who could tell you how I was as a soldier in the army. I have people who I went to college with. I have people who I was in the pens with behind the walls for a decade who can speak to my character. I have people who I work with in the nonprofit, the people who trained me, people who I've trained. You don't get no more transparent than that. Don't get no more transparent than that. And I've been consistent through all that time. So I understand there are people who are new to me and the message and what I'm saying. But if you don't have people who can tell you about the person that you're watching, that you can't research and ask about, and all my shit is public. All my pages. I don't hide shit. Friends list, nothing. All of it is public. I stand tall on this shit. Let's see if you can ask them where they parents at, where they family members at, where their friends and colleagues at. Not people who bought into them because they seen them as a personality and started following and idol worshiping them. No. Nigga, go back. Research me 40 years ago. Ask them how I was in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade. Ask people who I was in junior high school. Ask them what kind of a high school student I was. Ask dudes in the pen what kind of a convicted felon I was. Ask homies in the street. And then come back and tell me that you watching me. Got an eye on you. Fuck out of here. Don't get me to talking my shit. Or I can get real arrogant and nasty. I know who I am. I'm that shit. Follow me and we going to the promised land. Moses Malone, goddammit. Alright? Keep following them lanes and you're gonna get heartache. Heartache. In an empty pocket fucking with them clowns. Straight up. Oh, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm here for my people. You know? No other reason but to make sure we get to where we need to go. So, Saturday night book club is coming to an end. You dig? Do what y'all do. Remember, don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you. Because we will win. Check out my joint. All right? Got the fresh hoodie. Doing what I do. So, you know, boom. Salute. We're going to win. All right? Thank you, Tamara. So if God is watching over me, that means the black woman is watching over me. All right? You dig? Queen D. No doubt. You know? That's what I want. I need all the melanated women watching over me. Come protect me. Hold me down. Hold me close to your heart. Right? Close to your bosoms and shit so I can feel, you know, the strength and the power. You know? Right, V? Hold me close. How do you know if someone is an agent or not? Research them. Research and follow and watch. They should never be outside of your eyesight. You dig? That's how you know. Because we've learned in the past that when we can't see someone, when somebody doesn't have eyes on them all the time and can't account for their space, can't trust them. Simple as that. You can't trust them. Somebody always know where I'm at. At all times. At all times. You dig? Kevin Samuels, he's an agent. I don't fuck with nobody that speaks separation between a black man and a black woman and speak that vile against our black woman. Fuck out of here. That's agent work. You dig? Fresh hoodie, right? What pattern should we be paying attention to? Separation talk. Be mindful of that. Be mindful of people who pit blacks, melanated, whatever we want to describe each other, who pits us against each other based on frivolous differences. That's the pattern you look for. That's the pattern you look for. Because we've been separated. We've been separated through borders. We've been separated through states. We've been separated by them. So when somebody of us puts that separation in play, gotta watch them. Gotta watch them. Because I don't give a fuck where my comrades at. They my comrades. I don't give a fuck if they're in the UK. I don't care if they're in the Caribbean. I don't care if they're on the continent. Our people are our people. And anybody that tries to separate our people from one another is an agent. Because we need each other. We're responsible for each other. We just have to make sure we dialogue and get an understanding of how the different levels of oppression have affected us. Simple as that. We all have different themes that we are raised up in due to the oppressive conditions. They didn't oppress people in Barbados the same way they oppressed people in Cuba. They didn't oppress the people in Haiti the same way they oppressed people in Puerto Rico. They didn't oppress people in Virginia the same way they oppressed people on the continent. Different things, different people, but they was all oppressed. So how dare we separate each other? We have to find the similarities with each other in order to get to the next level. So when you hear melanated people speak that separation shit, so if you separating us, who do you have an affinity for? And the affinity, the love is always for the enemy when they can assert themselves in there and think they're better than because they've gotten a position or a title from your oppressor. The fuck is that? So you telling me that because I'm here and you can say that we're indigenous to this space here, that we are different from somebody on a continent? You fucking serious? But yet, under the doctrine, you worship the dollar. You are abiding by the constitutional and judicial laws of this corporation, but you don't like your comrade, you don't like your brother because he's from over there? How intelligent does that sound? That's agent work. Come on now. Come on. I'll be smarter than that. I'll be smarter than that. So that's how you tell. You dig? Come on. So, we'll build on that. We'll definitely build on that. We build on that. But right now, it's Saturday night and it's after hours. And I've been out all day. They don't like Haiti because they don't understand. They don't understand Haiti. So, of course, they do that, And this is nothing. When we came up in the 80s, they really tried to give a false narrative on there. They blame Haitians for the virus and all that. They didn't want us to deal with them at any point. It was on some bullshit. This is light. They tried to put that stigma on them. And it took a while before they even was proud to speak up and say that. This shit is brand new now, where everybody claiming their flags and where they from. They didn't even want you to go to meet their parents. They didn't want you to go to their houses. And everybody with an accent was Jamaican. I'm telling you, this new pride, everybody stomping for their islands, wasn't like that in the 80s. Don't let this new shit fool you. I'm serious. It wasn't no pride in that. It wasn't. It was a shame. You was getting teased. You was getting kicked and treated bad. It wasn't always like that. It was not like that. They'd be ashamed if their parents came up to school and people would look and, come on now. Nah. This is new. You dig? It's new where you getting this. All right? Yeah, they used to deny, can't deny race. They used to deny their heritage, their background. But there was some shit, But it's the same thing they did to the Irish and the Italians. Don't think that all Euros are proud people too. They weren't. They wasn't, so prideful in being Irish. They used to call them slang terms too. The only thing we can't hide So, if you don't speak a certain tone and you code switch, you won't know where Euro is from. You won't know where they from. So they was able to do things that we can't do, which is pass. So an Irishman, right, can pass. An Italian can pass if they wasn't that dark, you know? It's different. For us, that's why they made sure to keep us out of the loop. Nah, y'all black, and we don't care where you from. We see that melanin in your skin, you get shit. And it's still done to this day. So how can you want to uphold these institutions? This whole shit gotta come down. You can't hold on to a little piece because that little piece is good. No. If you got fruit sitting out and the shit is molded, you gonna scrape the mold off and eat the other part? Nah, you got to throw the whole fruit away. Same thing with this shit here. You can't keep the financial institution because you want to floss, you want to rock Gucci and Louis and Fendi and shit, and you want to get that money and the Bitcoin. You want to keep that part, but all the other shit you want to throw away. It don't work like that. You want to throw away the police brutality. You want to throw away the separation between church and state. You want to throw away the racism, but you want to keep the financial part. The fuck out of here. This whole shit is foul. It's rotten. So the shit got to go. It got to go. And you got to rebuild this shit from scratch. Come on now. That's what we got to do. All right? So stick a move. I love my people. Salute, salute. Thank you for, who gave to the super chat. But again, I'll tell you, be mindful. What you give, YouTube takes 40%. All right? So if you're going to give to the Cash App. All right? That way it comes in and I could really help somebody else with it. YouTube take that shit, and anybody with a channel will let you know that. They get nice. They take a, I'm learning this shit. They nasty with it. All right. So salute. You dig? Well, you ain't late, Ma. You on the West Coast. You do you. You can always watch the replay. All right. You dig? Salute, salute, salute.